Hello everyone, this is Evie, and real quick, I would like to do a little video talking about these three car Mocs that I have made. They are smaller Lego cars. These three are based off of the old Lego City car chassis piece that I think nowadays most Lego cars are 6 studs wide, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, I have a few 6 stud wide vehicles of my own, and there were quite a few of those being released in the Lego City line when I was a kid. However, most of the Lego cars from Lego City that I got growing up as a kid were these 4 wide ones. So whenever I build a Lego car, I can't help but default to that format. So if this style of Lego car seems a bit outdated, that's the reason why. I'm going to go through each of these cars one at a time and talk about each of them on their own merits. And I'll start with this red one right here. Now, if you are a car nerd, you will recognize this as looking like a 1950s Chevy Bel Air, and that's because it is. I remember around 10 years ago, my brother had a model of a Chevy Bel Air, and I'm not entirely sure why, but the idea of making a Lego version of it popped into my head. And that's kind of a project that's been off and on over the past 10 years or so. Like, I return to it every now and then, but no matter what I do, I can never find myself satisfied with how it turns out. Just for the record, when I'm talking about making a Lego Chevy Bel Air, I'm always talking about a bigger one, not like a 4 stud wide one like this. Like, this is just an off thing I decided to do just for the sake of it, to see how it turned out, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think that building it at this scale was much easier, but when I'm talking about building one that I'm not happy with, it's at a much larger scale than this. At minimum, it would be 6 studs wide. But as for this one, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I feel pretty confident that I did mostly a good job at capturing the shape and model of the Bel Air. Is it the best you could do at this scale? Probably not. There are probably some people out there who, if they got their hands on this project, they could probably do a much better job at it than I could, and I'm willing to accept that. Now, there is one big drawback to this model that the other two do not have, that I will concede to, and that is the fact that because of what I did for the roof, where it's just two F4 tiles, it means that a minifigure cannot fit in this car with the roof on. To quickly demonstrate, I just have a random minifigure on my desk and I'm going to put it in the car. Let me take the roof off, put him in, and attempt to put the roof back on. As you can see, I cannot do it. I can't do it. Look, his head is sticking out above the windshield, so I can't put the tiles on. Even if I take the hood off, even so, it's like he doesn't have anything on his head. It's a little better. You could push him back really far, so yeah, you could technically fit him in there, but that just doesn't look right. Look how far back he's sitting. It's just weird. So ideally, best thing to do is just take the roof and windshield off and have him driving a 1950s looking convertible, which honestly, I'm not too upset about, because even with the windshield and roof taken off, I still think this car looks pretty decent. So yeah, that's the only thing about this model that I will point to as a drawback of some kind, is the fact that you can't really get a minifigure to fit in it unless you just straight up take 3 of the pieces off, which it is what it is. I don't really feel like changing the design, so it's just kind of to be a fault that I accept with this thing. So but moving on to the next car, we got this one. Now, anyone who is a fan of Lego creator sets will recognize this as a small version of the Blue Roadster. The Blue Roadster is an old Lego creator set. If I remember, I think it came out in either 2011 or 2012, sometime in that time period. At the very least, I remember getting it in the year 2012, though my memory might be inaccurate. Now, the Blue Roadster set is actually one of my favorite all-time Lego sets. I love the creator line in general because I love the whole 3-in-1 gimmick behind it. But the Blue Roadster, I remember being a set that I had when I was a kid that I absolutely loved, that I messed with all the time. And because of the fact that that's one of my all-time favorite Lego sets and how much I love it, I just thought it would be fun. Hey, why don't I rebuild it as like a small 4-wide car? Rebuilding the Blue Roadster as a 4-stud wide car was fairly easy. There are some details that ended up not making it into the final thing that did have to be changed. I don't think it's a perfect translation because of that fact, but I feel like I did the best I could with the limitations that I was facing. I'm pretty happy with the way the final thing turned out, and I think that even like if you were to completely remove the fact that this is recreating a Lego set, I think on its own, like in a vacuum on its own, I think that this is a pretty decent car. Now, I really like how it looks. Definitely has like that sports car kind of look to it. And the fact that there's a lot of blue on it makes it appealing to me personally, because blue is my favorite color, so it's like there's a big biased aspect to it from that perspective. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I had a lot of fun recreating the Blue Roadster in a smaller scale. And I think, honestly, between this and the last one I showed you, they're kind of tied for my favorite between these three. I'm not entirely sure which one I like more. But that's all I have to say about this one. Moving on to the final car, we have this green car. Now, unlike the last two, this one is not recreating something from real life, whether it be an actual car or a Lego set that somebody already made. This is just like a purely original thing that I made. I just threw together, and I like the way it turned out. I think that this is probably my least favorite of the three, because I think that it doesn't have as much detail. I don't think that I really did as much with this, like, creatively speaking, I don't think I really did anything interesting or unique with this one. It's just mostly kind of like using like slope pieces on it. So I think that's the reason why it's the least favorite of my three. Like with the Blue Roadster, you know, again, ignoring that this is based off a set, you have, you know, the lighter blue stripes on it at the front, you have the spoilers in the back, and you have that clear transparent plate to kind of simulate like there being a gap in there. You have you just have the front with this front section being designed differently from the back section. There's stuff to this that makes it interesting, and the same thing with this one. You know, again, like ignoring that this is based off a real car, you have two different windshield types being used. You have the white and red color scheme. You have the use of like these little studs up here. You have the angled slopes in a unique position in the front and the back. You have these little tails at the back. There's stuff that makes this interesting. This one, it doesn't really have that one. It's just sloped in the front, sloped in the back, and that's it. And honestly, I'll admit, I probably could have done something more interesting with this. Oh well, not sure what I could do about that now. The interesting thing, or it might not be interesting to everyone, but like honestly, it's interesting. It's interesting to me. This is the only of the three cars that doesn't have any car doors on it. This one has the car doors. This one has the car doors. Granted, they're a little loose. These are older pieces, so they kind of lost some friction over the years. But they still have the car doors. Now, the thing is, those car doors, they do come in green. Just to confirm that fact, I quickly went through one of my Lego bins, and I did find one of those car doors in green. It is the exact same shade of green that I use on this. So it begs the question, why didn't I not just use one of these for this green car? And let me tell you why. The thing about those car doors is that they were only 3 studs long, but they're covering a space that's 4 studs long, and because of that, you need one of these to fill in the gap after them. It is a 1x1 corner panel. These do exist in red, which I used on the Bel Air. These exist in blue, which I used on the blue Roadster. But funnily enough, they don't make these in green, at least not this shade of green, which I was kind of surprised to learn, because this is such a common piece and green is such a common color that you would have figured that this would have been made in green, but it hasn't, which I just find so weird. So that's the reason why I had to use one of these 1x4 panel pieces for the doors, which sometimes Lego City did do that. They did use these panel pieces a lot, and I think every now and then I have made my own Lego cars that use the same panel pieces. But I still just find it weird that those 1x1 corner panels aren't in green. You would have figured they would have been, but I'm not sure why they're not. So I had to use the 4-long panels instead of the doors on this one, which I don't like as much. Like, having the door to be able to open, it feels a little more believable to me personally. But like, you know, it is what it is. They don't make that piece in that color, so I kind of have to accept it for what it is. There's not much I can do about that. But overall, that's really all I have to say about all these car mocs. So I'll just go ahead and put them all on screen together right now. These aren't like the greatest thing I ever built in Lego. They're very simple, very straightforward, easy to assemble, easy to build. Which, speaking of, I am going to be doing a speed build for these. Like, even though like they are very simple, like I just like doing speed builds for all the mocs that I make. It's pretty fun for me. So I'll be doing that next video, like I always do with these. But that's all I have to say about these green cars. So that's all from me for today. So come by next time. Can't wait to see you there. Until then, EB out.